From the Redbird Arena here on the campus of Goodrich High School. Good evening, high school basketball fans, and welcome to the Fox Valley Association. I'm Dave Preston here tonight, along with all the play-by-play action as the Fond du Lac Goodrich Cardinals play host to the Appleton West Terriers. And Mike, not a very pleasant evening as far as that goes here at here in Fond du Lac. Nice inside, but on the outside about, well, I'd say between 6 and 8 inches of snow that has dropped on us here this evening. And probably the smallest that we have seen in a good 10 years here for Goodrich High School basketball.
Well,
game.
it certainly looks at as we look over our shoulders here, by far less than a half a house on the lower level. So it's going to be a very small crowd here, and of course a combination of things. Number one, the weather we have outside. Number two, a conference full, but a lowly full. The Terriers coming in 0-9 in the conference, 0-11 overall.
0-12 as a matter of fact.
0-12, okay, yeah. Overall. And of course, being weeknight, the tendency is you don't draw quite as well as you do on the weekend. So you threw all three together, it's going to be a lighthouse.
Mike, very dangerous basketball game still with the Appleton West Terriers. They may be 0-12. We will talk about this in just a bit with Dick Diener, but these types of ball clubs get a little bit hungry this time of the year. They've got nothing to play for in conference play, and they'd like nothing better than to come in and knock off one of the top 10 ranked teams in the state, let alone the leader in the conference.
Oh, of course, that's exactly what they shoot for when you're in that kind of a position. Your season, as far as conference position, is pretty well shot down the tubes. But you've got a couple things coming in the Fond du Lac. Number one, they have that 37-game winning streak here on the home court, and you know that could make your season if you're a Terriers player to come in and knock them off on their home court. Of course, Fond du Lac, as you mentioned, leading the conference right now, all alone in first place. That makes another situation. And so it's a dangerous opponent, but if the Cardinals come in and take care of business, this is a game that the Cardinals should be able to control from the word go.
All righty, we're going to be right back to talk with head coach Dick Diener here of the Fond du Lac Goodrich Cardinals right after this on your Fond du Lac Cardinal Basketball Report.
The Business Technology Association says Toshiba copiers are the most reliable in America, which means Toshiba copiers are as reliable as Old Faithful. Hey, maybe even more. And nothing's more reliable than your Toshiba dealer. Whoa! So for reliable copiers, fax machines, and Toshiba service and supplies, call Ross Office Machines. Ross Office Machines, your Old Faithful Toshiba dealer.
And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Redbird Arena at Goodrich High School. With me right now, head coach of the Fond du Lac Cards, Dick Diener. And Dick, nice win over the National Blue Jays last week. You see, I guess, particularly nice because you see a different defensive situation in that they throw a box and one against your son, Drew. And Cards came out and handled it pretty well. And once Drew became a little bit more accustomed to it, he as well handled it pretty decent.
I was real happy with the way our kids responded to that. As you said, we had not seen that all year long. And you never know how the guys are going to react in a game situation. You know, you practice against it so that you're ready for it. But this was the first time that we had met it. And, you know, our guys moved off the ball very well, set some nice screens for Drew. We got a good high-low game going with our big guys. Zimmy hit some big shots on the wing because, you know, when they're playing a box in one zone, there's going to be some openings on the outside. And Zimmy stepped up, I believe, and hit 3 shots in that first period. They got out of the box in the second quarter, about 2 minutes left in the half, because we were just picking apart a lot of different guys scoring. And second half, they played a straight man for man, and we did a nice job executing our offense and getting the ball to the open man.
Now we come into a stretch here in the season that I guess, in my opinion, is one of those kind of dangerous, very dangerous stretches of your season. The teams that are really the lower echelon, so to speak, of the conference. You started out with Appleton West here tonight. They're 0-12. They've been playing people pretty tough as of late. And not to jump too far ahead, but you've got Oshkosh West in this stretch. Basically, teams that maybe are not going to finish above 500, and because of that, they can be very dangerous. They know conference season, as far as a conference championship or anything of that is concerned, is basically over with, and they can come out and play a little bit loosey-goosey. And the Cards, on the other hand, you got to guard against letdowns against teams like Appleton West.
We have to be ready for every ball game. It's been that way for several years, teams will gun for us, and we cannot afford to let our guard down. If we do, you know, we're going to be in some big trouble, because people may think that these teams aren't good or can't play with us, and that's not the case at all. They're very close to us in talent, most of them, and very capable of beating us. So I think our kids have done a great job in the 90s of respecting every opponent they play and taking games one at a time, and I really truly believe that is the key to a successful season, is having the kids respect all opponents, fear none, and never look past your next game, and be ready to go against the opponent that you're playing that night.
Dick, a new coach up at Appleton West, Gary Harches, a long tradition of pretty tough battles with this particular school. Some great games, and I think if there was, I can't, the memory's just not serving me right now as their former coach that is not at Appleton West, but
that would be Gene Woodley.
Yes, okay. And Gene was could be a real thorn in your side, I know. You had some great battles with him, some great chess matches. New coach this year, and basically a situation where an awful lot of the good athletes from Appleton West wound up over at Appleton North. You had the school split and what have you, them going to the 3 high schools up there. So tough situation for Gary to step in. What can you tell us about the Appleton West Terriers this year?
Well, I think you mentioned they have not won a ball game, but they are improving. They're playing people much tougher the last 4 or 5 ball games than they had earlier in the year. I think he's pleased with the progress that they've made. Even though they haven't won, you know, the team is getting better, and as a coach, that's all you look for. You want your team to get better as the season goes on. Their best player and leading scorer is Caleb Moore. He's 6'4", and he's really a load. He tips the scales at 280, and he's a guy that can post up inside, and he goes out and shoots threes. He's got NBA range, so he's quite a good athlete with that kind of size that can go out on the floor and do some things. Raymer and Larson are their 2 wing players that do most of the damage and are pretty good athletes and decent basketball players. Defensively, they've been playing half-court man for man, and now they've been playing, mixing in some zones as well. I would be ready for just about anything tonight. Gimmick defenses, maybe some half-court traps on their part. And offensively, they run a motion offense, which is very common, you know, the high-low ball game.
You mentioned them mixing in some zone defenses and what have you, and ironically, Dick Bennett at the University of Wisconsin kind of forced to go to a zone. Last few games have been very successful with it. Are we, and we're seeing it a little bit more again on the high school level. Is there some type of a resurgence again to zone defenses and tricky zone defenses, I might add, back to matchup zones and spreading the wings off of a simple 1-2-2? Are we seeing coaching go back to that a little bit?
I still see most of the teams are predominantly man for man. Some teams are starting to play a little bit of zone, but I think it may be to protect a certain player against fouls, or perhaps just to change the tempo of the ball game, or change momentum if another team's got something good going, maybe to slow them down and give them a different look, that kind of thing. I even saw Bobby Knight playing some zone last night. It's the first time I've ever seen him play zone in his ball game. But I think you know, good coaches adapt to this situation, the players that they have, and you know, a zone defense can be very effective, even if you are a man-for-man team.
You mentioned the size of Caleb Moore for Appleton West. First of all, I guess who's going to draw Caleb tonight? Are we going to see Greg Fyvie? Are we going to see Laced, or are we going to see Zimmy predominantly taking him? And does this present any problems for you with that type of bulk in the middle?
Well, we're going to start with Kyle Laced on him. We think Kyle can match up with him in the inside. Kyle's a pretty big kid, and the guy's not going to go around anybody. You know, he doesn't have the foot speed to blow by people, but yet he will go outside and catch and shoot, and he will draw some fouls inside posting up. And you know, I don't want to get Greg Fyvie some fouls that would hurt us, you know, as of course the game goes on. So we'll start with Kyle on him. We'll probably run Casey Jekyll at him some. You'll probably see Greg Fyvie on him then too, you know, some throughout the ball game.
Your son Derek doing a tremendous job picking up right where he left off last year, really with the point guard position, and I think feeling more and more confident in that position every game. However, we've seen Corey Higgins, I think, now as well, maybe taking some lessons from Derek, maybe watching him while he's on the bench or whatever. Corey is doing a very good job, and what's really nice right now is there's not much of a let-off. If Derek is forced to the bench in a foul situation, Corey steps in and runs the team very well. Maybe has a little different style, and quite frankly, that can follow up a few teams when he steps on the court.
Yeah, we're real happy with Corey Higgins. If there was a question mark with our team this year, it was what do we do at the backup guard, point guard spot, and Corey's just been outstanding. You know, as you said, many times he's gone in the game and we haven't lost a thing. He's given us a lift last week at Menasha. He was able to do a very nice job of punching in gaps in the box in one zone and getting the ball to some open people. So yeah, he's having a real nice year. And Derek, you know, is having a great year getting the ball to the open people and you know, really racking up the assists.
Dick Diener, the head basketball coach of the Fond du Lac Goodrich Cardinals. Conference game here tonight against the Appleton West Hers. They're winless in conference play, but been playing pretty tough as of late. We'll be right back with the starting laps for both teams right after this on your Fond du Lac Cardinal Basketball Report.
Fond du Lac Bumper Exchange invites all truck lovers to check out their vast supply of DZ products. Get your truck ready now for this hunting season. Need a DZ cargo liner or bed protector installed in your truck? Let Fond du Lac Bumper Exchange skilled technicians get you ready for the winter. Fond du Lac Bumper Exchange. We're a lot more than bumpers. See us at 1285 Moore Street in Fond du Lac.
On a snowy evening here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Good evening. Welcome back once again to the Redbird Arena. I'm Dave Preston, along with Mike Pfeiffer, to bring you all the play-by-play action here now this evening. And Mike will reiterate again, a very dangerous game. It's going to be interesting to see just exactly how the Cardinals start. Typically, you'll see an awful lot of teams in this type of a situation come out and start really, really sluggish.
Well, that's the case for a lot of reasons. Typically, unfortunately, but that's human nature, you often look by a game such as this. The best thing for the Cardinals to do, however, would be come out and nail this thing down early. You know, put the game away early in the first half and hopefully just coast to a victory tonight.
All right, let's go down and pick up the lineups.
Larson. Number 45, Eric Dake. Number 53, Paul Fain. Number 55, Jake Nodoff. Number 43, Jake Brucker. Number 51, Jake Hodgson. For our Fond du Lac Cardinals, number 20, Jeff Behrens. 00, Ryan Blaine. Number 12, Jacob Brandow. Number 10, Corey Higgins. Number 24, Casey Janko. Number 3, Andy Judkins. Number 34, Andy Moline. Number 32, Andy Rose. Number 5, Dan Schrum. Starters for tonight's game. For the Terrors, a junior, number 5, Jeremy Nowak. For the Cardinals, a senior, number 21, Derek Diener. For Appleton West, a senior, number 23, Joe Gulbranson. For the Cardinals, a sophomore, number 13, Drew Diener. For the Appleton West Terrors, a senior, number 33, Brian Reimer. For the Cardinals, a senior, number 33, Greg Fivey. For the Terrors, a junior, number 41, Brett Catlin. For the Cardinals, a senior, number 44, Kyle Laced. And for the Terrors, a junior, 00, Caleb Moore. For the Cardinals, a senior, number 4, Mike Zimmerman. The Terrors are coached by Greg Hartjes and Gary Wondrash. The Cardinals are coached by Dick Diener, assisted by Mike Schaefer, Jim Siebert, Roger Springborn, and Marty Craig.
So there are the starting lineups for this evening's game here at the Redbird Arena. As we said, about a half a house on the lower tier in attendance for this game out here tonight. And one of those evenings that, you know, you plan way ahead of time. They've got the band here and the pom-pom gals, the whole 9 yards tonight, Mike, and not a whole heck of a lot of people to watch it. It's mainly due to the weather. However, I guarantee you that if it were Appleton North coming in here tonight, and this game were for the conference championship, people would have found a way to get out here.
Well, hopefully a lot of them are, unfortunately, waiting to watch it right here this evening. So we'll bring it right back to you and hopefully a win for the Fond du Lac Cardinals.
Joe Gulbranson will go in for Appleton West with high 5-y for the Fond du Lac Cards. The Cards out of there with a tap. And here's Derek Diener up into the forecourt with a basketball. Working against man-to-man defense. Drew Diener around to the left side, giving it to Kyle Laced out hole high. Derek pops it back up. Drew, free throw line jumpers on the way and good. Well, that's not coming out flat.
Nope, not at all.
And Fond du Lac with the early 2-0 lead in the basketball game as Jeremy Nowak will walk it back up across the timeline. West will probably try to slow the tempo down. And scores that we have seen thus far this year, they've been very low. So look to them to want to play the half-court basketball game, to be very deliberate.
Yeah, the lower the score, the more chance they have to stay in this basketball game.
Exactly. And up at the high post, here is Caleb Moore. He splits it off the post off onto the right side to Gulbranson. They look to reload it, knocked away by Derek Diener and out of bounds. Derek looking for an Academy Award on the tap out. Not going to get a nomination or anything from the official there, and Appleton West will get the basketball. So Jeremy Nowak. Tricky dribble it a bit between the two rings. Comes to Gulbranson. Got it down low here to Caleb Moore off of the baseline. Got the inside step on Kyle Lace and knocked it down. Caleb Moore with his first bucket of the game. And we're all knotted up at 2 apiece. And jump shot here by Lace would not go down. Gulbranson with the rebound. And to back up court with the basketball comes Jeremy Nowak. Out of the right side, down to the baseline. Gulbranson trying to dish back into the lane. Bang, free, and the Cards come out of there with it. So around to the left side sidewalk. Got it down low here to 5-y. Greg 5-y turns down inside on Brett Catlin. Catlin got a piece of the basketball, no whistle on it. And ball goes back off to the Appleton West Terrors. Gulbranson, Nowak, down low to the block, out hole high with a Trey J on the way there from Brian Reimer, would not go down. Quickly back up court, Zimmerman. Forgot where the switch was, didn't you?
For a second.
And around to the right side here, this is Greg 5-y. 5-y falling away from 10. No, the Cardinals have gone into the deep freeze since that opening bucket by Drew Diener. And Nowak will bring it back up.
Well, at this point, give some credit to West because of the slow tempo. They've kind of taken Fond du Lac out of what they like to do.
Caleb Moore steps out of the low post, turns, fires up a shot there, that air ball. And quickly back up court is Zimmerman. Mike, looping feed down here to Greg 5-y, popping up high post from a low to high. Kyle Lace missed the free throw line jumper. 5-y with a rebound. Scoop shovel lamp will knock it down. And it's cleared by Brian Reimer. For Appleton West, the Cardinals have hit, but what, one of their first 6 shots? 5.
That's what I have in this. I missed one where I was down
I
low.
don't think you did. Looping feed down around to the baseline, and a shot on the way here by Brian Reimer is good.
Meanwhile, the Terrors 2 for 4 here early in the basketball game. 4:37 to go in the first quarter of action. Actually just underway here. The Terrors with a 4-2 lead.
Well, the Cardinals are getting good looks at the bucket, Mike, but shots right at the moment just not falling. 5-y coming around the pick down low, goes to the hole, foul.
Nice entry pass by Kyle Lace from the near side as 5-y took down from the high post down low into the baseline. And Greg this year has really developed that left hand so well. He uses that an awful lot when he's going to that direction, protects the ball with the body, and uses the left, and has been very, very effective that way.
Brett Catlin with the personal foul, his first, the team's first, and Greg Fyvie to the free throw line to shoot a pair here, and he misses the front half. Greg will get one more. Been a pretty good free throw shooter on the season. Second one is on the way, and he knocks this one home. 4-3 basketball game in favor of the Appleton West Terrors, and Jeremy Nowak will bring it back up once again. Nowak played here by Derek Diener, comes off onto the right side to Gulbranson, and the ball kicked free by Drew Diener. Out of bounds, it'll go back to the West Terrors. So West inbounding underneath their own hoop. Caleb Moore. Get it back once again to Gulbranson. Gulbranson looking to reload. They cut off the passing lanes, and Nowak has to come way over to get the basketball. Now going to pop there from 17, no foul. And they're going to call this one on Catlin. Brett Catlin has just picked up his second personal foul. He was over the back of Drew Diener. That's also the second team. And quickly, a couple of substitutions into the basketball game. Junior 6'3", Eric Drake is into the ball game, and also Kenny Larson comes in. Casey Jankel now in for Kyle Lace, so he'll go in and bang around on the big guy for a while.
And there's some banging to be done. Caleb Moore, he looks more like an offensive tackle than a basketball player.
Well, he was, Mike, as a matter of fact. And out of the Coffin corner, Fyvie up high post. Zimmerman splits it off to the left side. Coffin to Drew Diener. Now Greg Fyvie going to take the 17-footer. They let him alone out there. Can't do that, and he hit it.
Yeah, everybody backed off Fyvie once he got the ball, and Greg just couldn't believe he was wide open, squared up, and took a nice rainbow shot.
How about that shot by Asito Achukwu last night?
Yeah. Only points of the game for him.
Longest shot in his playing career, a 15-footer. And an over and back here on the West Terrors.
Great basketball game for the Badgers.
That's something. I keep telling people you can look at the score at halftime if they're down by 14 and people will turn the game off. Keep telling them you can't do that.
For a while I was thinking the jinx of Minnesota was going to continue to haunt us.
Well, we've got Dick Bennett over there. He doesn't know about that jinx of Minnesota yet. And an outside shot here. A tray by Drew Diener is gone. First tray of the basketball game for either team. 8-4 the score. Fond du Lac has doubled up the Appleton West here.
And have gone on a 6-0 run at this point.
Looping feed down low post to Caleb Moore. And he banks this one down into the hole. Second bucket of the game for Moore. 8-6.
Not a lot of vertical leaping ability for Moore. Doesn't get much off the old shoe tops.
Zone defense here now by the Appleton West Terrors. Drew Diener. Left side. Get on a tray. Drew Diener is second straight. 11-6 by 5 Fond du Lac. And Brian Reimer will work it back up. Right side, here's Larson. Down low. Fyvie will get the foul on Eric Drake. For Greg, his first personal, the first team foul.
2:16 left in the first quarter of action from the Redbird Arena. The Cardinals with an 11-6 win.
So Drake to the free throw line will shoot a pair, gets the first. And he will get one more. I would have to think that with the three-point shooting right now, Mike, of Drew Diener, that the score not really going the way the West Terrors would like it. I'm saying too many points up on the scoreboard here,
right,
as far as they're concerned.
1-2-2 zone that they drop back into a 3-2. Actually, they float
the
Kenny Larson off the point all the way down to the baseline.
Free throw line jumper by Mike Zimmerman won't go. Fyvie tries, but Caleb Moore had the rebound. On the low outlet pass, he comes to Brian Reimer, and Reimer quickly back up into the forecourt. Gulbranson high. Now posting up his Drake. He traveled with the ball.
Second TO of the game for the Terrors of Appleton West.
Well, a triple header weekend of basketball action for us this weekend. We've got the Ledger guys on Friday night. We hope, barring this big snowstorm we're supposed to get. Of course, the last time we were supposed to get a big snowstorm, we got nothing.
No, we have to worry about when they say a 1 to 3 job. That's when we get.
That's when we get nailed. Yeah, like today. And left side out of the coffin corner. Drew again. Drew Diener.
Well, right now they realize Drew's got the hot hand, and a nice job inside 5. He gets the ball, finds Drew on the kick out back on the left side baseline corner for the wide open Jay.
1:15 remaining here in the first quarter of action. It's 14-8, and a bad pass underneath is stolen away by 5e. Quickly up court, Drew Diener with a running one-hander. It's gone.
All right, what a quarter for Diener.
Drew Diener with 13 points here in the quarter.
13 of the 16 for the Cardinals.
And 3 trays. Down under a minute remaining here, first quarter of action. Nowak. Cardinals, they are man-to-man.
Yep.
For a moment there, I was going to say they were looking like they were in a zone. It just happened to be the way the West offense was shifting. And Casey Jekyll reaches out in front of Caleb Moore and knocks the ball away and out of bounds. So West will inbound back, and up off the Pines now is Jake Nodal.
Look at the Cardinal bench. Dick Diener reaching over, wanting a new player, and he gets him. That's going to be Andy Rose up off the Pines early for the Cardinals tonight. Rose, a 6'4.5" sophomore in for 5e.
So, looking down, here's Nodal, the 6'7" kid off of the bench. And he knocks this one down. What on earth am I doing up here?
Cardinals are going to look for one last look at things with 18 seconds to go in the quarter. Derek Diener just yo-yos the dribble up at the half-court line. Clock rolls down to 10, and now they're going to go to work.
Zimmerman. Left side to Drew, down to 4 seconds. Up high post as Zimmy has to turn now, fire one up there. Had to force that one, it won't go down, and that'll be the end of the first quarter of action. And our score after 1 quarter of play here from the Redbird Arena is the Fond du Lac Cardinals 16 and the West Terrors 10. Back after this on your Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball report.
Fond du Lac Cardinals tonight, as they opened up shooting 50% on 6 for 12 shooting. More importantly, they were 3 for 3 from three-point range. The Terrors of Appleton West shoot 50% also, but get only 8 attempts, converting on 4. The Terrors with a slight edge on the boards, 4-3. Appleton West with 3 turnovers, and the Cardinals turnover-free in the first quarter of action. So a real fine first session for Fond du Lac.
16-10 ball game as we start the second quarter of action. Nowak up high post here to Caleb Moore, splits it back down low to Jeremy Nowak. Now they get it down to the low post to Caleb Moore, get a double up on him, missed the shot. 5e had the rebound but lost out of his hands and out of bounds. Cardinals coming back with Andy Rose in the basketball game, and right now he's the guy on the big man. Little baptism under fire there. 280 pounds against Andy Rose.
Good opportunity for him to get some quality playing time. Hasn't had a lot of playing time thus far in the season, and he gets it early here against a good foe, and it's a good experience. Like I say, baptism under fire, but it's a good experience for the young sophomore.
Foul here is going to be called on Mike Zimmerman. Zimmy with his first, the second team foul. And so West will inbound. Caleb Moore with 7.5 minutes here in the first half of action. They come off on the left side to Brett Catlin. That shot off the front of the rim. Rebound away to Derek Diener. Derek brings it up to the high post. Looking down into the lane. Comes off to Andy Rose off the baseline. Got him the shot. Got him the bucket. Now, Mike, I think Derek had that in his mind all the way up court.
Yeah, and that's a good move. Get the young sophomore involved in the offense right away. Good to see that first shot go down for him.
Fall away jumper here by Brett Catlin, and a foul.
Fall away from the ball. Bucket's going to count. I think they're going to get more, maybe. Yep.
That's what it is.
Is it more?
Yep. Caleb Moore
underneath on a
will
push-off.
get the personal. That'll be the team's third, his first.
There you see Caleb Moore. He's a load. takes up some space down low. Fills out that double zeros very nicely in the uniform.
That might be a brand new uniform, Mike.
Maybe it's 2 uniforms. It's got.
Yes.
They were each 0, and they had to put them together.
Drew Diener. Derek Diener, I should say. Here's Fyvie underneath. Nice feed from Andy Rose, and Fyvie comes down and gets the easy lay-in.
Good action off the motion offense, getting Fyvie to break to the basket.
20-12. Fond du Lac lead is 8. Jeremy Nowak threw the ball away. I'm sure that a real learning season for the Appleton West Terrors. You got a new coach, probably a new system, and maybe some new people into the program altogether, depending on how things got shifted there between East, West, and North. And Drew Diener double clutching on a 15-footer, and he banged it down.
And that may have been the toughest shot he's had thus far. Defense all over in his face, and he was still able to put it in through the hole.
Left side sidewalk. Brian Reimer here now with the basketball. Comes way outside is Moore. Caleb Moore backs down here on Andy Rose. Rose got a piece of the ball. Who are they going to call for the foul? You know, to be honest with you, if anybody got the foul, I thought it might have been Derek, who stepped in on the help-out defense, but they'll give it to Andy Rose. Rose with his first personal, the team's third. And Caleb Moore to the free throw line and missed the first. He will get one more. So Schrum now, Dan Schrum comes into the basketball game, and Mike Zimmerman will get a breather. Maybe want to stay with the other camera for a while there, Bob, while we make some minor adjustments here. Caleb Moore, second, is on the way, no good, and Fyvie up to snatch that one out of the air. 22-12 basketball game. Behind 10, the Fond du Lac Cardinals. Derek quickly up into the forecourt. Derek Diener, free throw line jumper on the way. No. Andy Rose taps. Caleb Moore with a rebound. Leave it for Nowak in the backcourt, and he'll walk it back up. Was that darn thing crooked?
Very.
Was it? It was right on. We didn't have a leg start sliding a little bit, did we? Well, on the turnover, Cardinals will get the basketball.
5th turnover of the game for the Terrors.
Appleton West still in the 1-2-2 zone, which changes into a 2-1-2, a 3-2, a 2-3, whatever they prefer there. And here's Rose off of the baseline. Little 12-footer there won't go down. Dan Schrum tried. And the rebound, though, off to Caleb Moore. So up court with the basketball, Brian Reimer got it down here to Moore. Turn around and just glassed it. Derek Diener. Derek quickly up into the forecourt, comes down right side sidewalk, post up here now to Rose. Right side is Derek Diener. Got it into Fyvie. And Greg Fyvie turns and goes to the hole and gets the 2.
Fyvie did a good job of really positioning the defense on the wrong side, and he was able to get the good lead-in shot.
And we got a timeout now taken on the court by Greg Hartzis for Appleton West. 4.5 minutes remaining here. First half of action. Timeout of the court. The score, Fond du Lac 24, Appleton West 12. Back after this.
The channel to make it a lot easier to find something you like. Turn on HBO and you might find suspense or comedy. While over on HBO 2, it could be sci-fi or sports. So that's 2 channels, 2 options, whenever it's convenient for you. Now that's getting the most out of your HBO.
Back at the Redbird Arena, I'm Dave Preston along with Mike Pfeiffer, who is making some adjustments here to that center camera. We've got one leg that just wants to shift here a little bit. So he'll be back, and One of those nights with that tripod. Well, that thing hasn't fouled us up in a long time. At any rate, the West Terrors inbounding, and Jeremy Nowak will bring it back up court. Left side, got it down here low to the block, and off of the baseline shot by Chris Peterson, who came in at the timeout. No, but a foul. Greg Fivey picks up the personal, his second, and the team's fourth. Common foul, and now a traveling violation on Nowak. Kyle Lace will come in. Fivey forced to the pines. Something that Dick did not want to see happen here tonight, Mike, and he did not put Greg Fivey out, Caleb Moore. And Fivey still picks up a pair here in the first set. Well, Derek Diener on that common foul, or off of the travel, I should say. Lace up hole high. Drew, left side sidewalk. Drew Diener takes his man to the baseline, pulls up 16 yards. God, by Drew Diener.
Drew has got it cooking tonight.
"17 points here in the first half for Drew Diener. Off of the pick, here's Nowak, shot it short, rebound away, Diener, Drew Diener, give it to Derek. Derek quickly back up into the forecourt, tricky dribble the basketball, Lace, they're gonna get a blocking foul here on Caleb Moore, yep. Moore with his second, fourth team.
Moore kind of reminds you of the Charles Barkley type. Kind of plays that style of a basketball game.
Well, yeah, he's no doubt he's a physical ball player. Does not have the leaping ability that you can certainly see out of Barkley. Yeah, but I know what you're saying. He has to use his physical ability.
And he tries to use that physical ability to his advantage. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, to make up for lack of being able to leap or get off the ground that much. He's an athlete.
Oh, nice move by...
off the baseline by Andy Rose.
Yeah, Rose takes the baseline and then cuts inside and just glides to the basket. Very impressive move for a guy that hasn't had a lot of playing time. Andy Rose playing quite well tonight.
Caleb Moore flashing through on the baseline, turns down on Kyle Lace, and he hits the 10-footer. Caleb Moore with his 6th point. 28-14, Cards still have him doubled up. Find Drew Diener off of the baseline. Derek, circle high right. Drew trying away now off the front of the rim. And it's carried out of bounds by Chris Peterson. Mike Zimmerman back in, Casey Jekyll back in. Schrum will come out, Andy Rose will come out. And a pretty good round of applause, I dare say, there for Andy Rose from an appreciative crowd.
Yep, a good stint for him. Played extremely well in that series.
Kyle Laced comes out to Derek Diener, swing between the two rings there, and get it back once again to the high post. Split it off down to Drew. Got caught into the bucket, gives it off to Casey Jekyll. Off the glass, shot won't drop. Drew Diener just got a foul. Or do they give this one to Kyle Laced? It's either on Laced or Drew Diener. It's going to be on Kyle Laced. First personal on Kyle, 5th team foul. So the West Terrors, I don't know why they got 2 guards back in the backcourt, and now Ken Larson retreats. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 seniors on this entire Appleton West roster. Taking the baseline is Larson. Off of the baseline, shot won't drop. Derek Diener with a rebound. Outlet pass quickly up court to Mike Zimmerman. Zimmy.
Double dribble, they're going to say it. I didn't see it either. But
he never picked up the dribble, Mike.
Well, you wouldn't have to pick up the dribble, double dribble. Anytime you put 2 hands on the ball. However, I don't
believe they put 2 hands on the basketball. I believe they heard the change in the rhythm of the dribble and called it a double dribble. I don't think that was the case. Well, you didn't see too much there from Dick Diener on the sidelines. Of course, when you got a 28-14 lead, you're not going to complain too awfully much. Larson on the near side to Lamarchi, and the ball stolen away. Up court they come to Drew Diener, knocked down another one. Drew Diener with 19 points here in the first half. Well, even with the help rebound defense. They just have not had anybody that's going to handle it. Jackknife jumper out head of the key by Brian Reimer. No. Fond du Lac back up. Mike Zimmerman, baseline 15-footer. Honeycomb down. Casey Jekyll has, and he's fouled. And I believe they're going to call this one on Chris Peterson. That's what it'll be. Chris Peterson with his first personal. That is the 5th team as well for Appleton West. Fond du Lac 1:22 to go here in the first half of action. Drew Diener to Derek, hole high. He steps up into the lane. 14-foot of the way there, no. Kyle Lace kept it alive. Drew Diener fall away. Got by Drew. 21 points for Drew Diener here in the first half. 21 of the 32.
Yep, up already over his average on his season. But we haven't hit halftime yet.
Right side, Lamarche knocked away and out of bounds, and
Cardinals also doing a great job at the defensive end. Held Terrors to about 14 points here with 57 seconds to go in the first half, and in a quarter out rebounding them by a 9-2 edge.
Well, basketball heading out of bounds. Sean Lamarche saved it from going OB by throwing it behind his back, throws it onto the hands of Brian Reimer, who ironically was still standing out of bounds. He was the man who had inbounded it, hadn't gotten back into play yet. 40 seconds to go here, first half of action. Hole high, Kyle Lace. Here's Zimmerman, circle to the right.
See if the Cardinals may think about one with 30 seconds to go here in the half.
I don't think initially they were, but I think you're right now that they to. West still in that 2-2 zone with a slider. Take the point man, slide him down, make it a 2-1-2 or a 2-3.
Clock down to 10.
And here's Mike Zimmerman, get it down to Kyle Laced off of the baseline, no foul.
Blocking foul on the baseline. It's going to be whistled against Kenny Larson. Stay around at halftime. I believe the Fond du Lac Pom-Pom squad will be performing. We'll pick up that action. We haven't seen them for some time.
So Kyle Lace, let's see, Corey Higgins into the ball game. Drew Diener has come out. Schrum comes in as Derek Diener is also out. And Kyle Lace to the free throw line. Will shoot a pair. Good on the first. And his second is on the way and also good. With 3 ticks left on the clock, they inbound it here to Reimer. Half-court shot is off the back of the rim. Off of the rim, no good, and that'll be the end of the first half of action. And our score here at halftime is the Fond du Lac Cardinals 34. Appleton West 14. Back after this.
We are back at the Redbird Arena on a snowy Thursday evening in Fond du Lac. However, things have heated up in the Redbird Arena as the Fond du Lac Cardinals lead the Terrors of Appleton West by a 34-14 score. Things got slow after the initial bucket to start the game while Fond du Lac went 0 for their next 4 field goal attempts, but midway through the quarter basically led by Drew Diener, who was red hot in the first half. The Cardinals, from that point on, really put some distance between them and Appleton West, and as you see, have a commanding half-point lead, and I think that's exactly what the Fond du Lac wanted to do. Get out and try to get these guys down early and not to give them much confidence in this basketball game. Take a look at the stats in the first half of play. Cardinals red hot overall, 54% from the field on 14 for 26 shooting. The Terrors, 6 for 16 for 38%. Cardinals, meanwhile, in the first half, were also 3 for 4 from long distance. Free throws, Fond du Lac 3 for 4 for 75. West 2 for 4 for 50%. Fond du Lac doubling up the Terrors on the boards by a 12-6 margin. Only 2 first-half turnovers for Fond du Lac and 8 for Appleton West. League scorer in the first half of action, look at it. Drew Diener with 23 points in the first half of play. Red hot. 5E with 7 points for Fond du Lac. Terrors are led by Caleb Moore with 6 points. But it has been all Fond du Lac here in the first half of play. Both teams back out in the court. Take a quick exit here and be back for the second half tip-off right after this on your Cardinal basketball report. Back at the Redbird Arena here, just about ready for the start of the second half of play. Fond du Lac Cardinals, they with a good first half of action, leading this basketball game by 20, and that's the kind of position they really need to be in against what could be a hypothetical dangerous opponent.
Well, Mike, a game that, you know, you can see a team come out flat or whatever, and you might expect that. In all reality, the team that's come out flat has been the Appleton West Terrors. Before they stepped on the court here tonight, I think they felt that they were out of this one, and they, frankly, I think have played a little bit that way. Fond du Lac, meanwhile, has just gone about and taken care of business, and taken care of business very well, and I think Dick can be very proud of this group that they didn't come out here flat tonight. Greg Fivey goes back and gets his 9th point of the basketball game. Opportunity to pad the stats, whatever you want to call it, Mike, and they've taken advantage of it.
Well, most important thing, an opportunity to throw up another W in that column, and Fond du Lac, you know, controls their own destiny at this point of the season.
Exactly.
Leading the conference by a game over both Appleton North as well as Appleton East.
And taking a lane on the inside is Gulbranson, but he crotched the basketball, and Fond du Lac quickly back up into the forecourt. Mike Zimmerman on the right side. Zimmy looks inside, pops it back out to Drew Diener. Down in the low post now. They got it down here to Fivey. He works down on Brett Catlin, and a foul.
And Fivey will go to the line and shoot a pair. You know, to the credit of the Fond du Lac Cardinals, they, through the course of the season, this is, as Dick pointed out in the pregame show, you know, on any given day in this conference, you got to be ready to play. Fond du Lac has one loss, and that came to a quality opponent. It came at the hands of Appleton North. Where North, meanwhile, has got to be kicking themselves in the butt a little bit because their 2 losses on the year came against lesser opponents.
Right.
Teams that they should have been able to win against. So, again, to Fond du Lac's credit, they have taken care of business against the lesser teams, per se.
Fivey gets the first, can't get the second. Brett Catlin comes out with the rebound for the West Terrors.
And that's a credit not only to the kids, but to the coaching staff to have these guys ready to play each and every time they hit the court.
Nowak comes off left side to Brian Reimer. Got away with the travel there. Here's Moore from 17 feet out. No. Fivey goes up and snares. Outlet pass to Derek Diener. Way down court. Here's Zimmerman. Cross court to Lace, wide open. Didn't handle the pass. Well, it would have been a pretty play. But Kyle Lace couldn't quite reel it in. Nowak to Caleb Moore. Right side, sidewalk. Cardinals will finish up the season with a game on the road at Appleton West. And we had a foul called underneath, and this one on Kyle Lace. Kyle with his second personal, first team of the second half. Cards are on the road for another rare occurrence. I'm sure Dick Diener not real fond of this on Saturday. You kind of get into a pattern of playing evening games, and on Saturday they'll play one in the afternoon.
That's up at Oshkosh.
West, yes. Brett Catlin missing the first. Second one also off the front of the rim. Rebound tapped in the hands of Jeremy Nowak. They come back and load up once again. Caleb Moore for Nowak. Left side is Gulbranson. Gulbranson down to Caleb Moore to the low post. Fivey gets down in front of him. He takes the inside off of the baseline. Leads in on Fivey and couldn't put it down off of the glass. Quickly up court, Zimmerman traveled.
I think one of those times he got the ball, looked up, and he was so surprised nobody there. Had a pretty good look right to the basket and put the feet in action before the ball on the court.
One of the trends, Mike, of a team that wants to play a half-court basketball game, strictly a half-court game, as Appleton West would like to do, is that you sometimes are not a real good transition team, and the Cards have kind of caught them that way a couple of times. Nowak. And coming around the pick down low is Brian Reimer. Gets the feed inside. Gulbranson. Gulbranson can't hit the shot. Gets his own rebound. This one won't go either, but a foul. And I believe they called this one on Derek Diener. Derek Diener with his first personal foul, the team's second. Be up on the ledge at the Hutter Gymnasium tomorrow night, we hope. And we also hope that St. Mary Springs can get out of the doldrums. And Mike, very, very frustrating season for least of all Tom Nisus, I'm sure. Very frustrated, but got to be frustrating all the way around. And it's beginning to show.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They just really need a win to kind of get some confidence back in the program right now. Things has been well documented over the course of the season. Have not been very well for the Ledgers after an awful lot of success under the regime of Tom Nisus over the last few years. An unfamiliar territory for him and the Ledgers.
Oh, lead feed up over the top to Fyvie. Good foul underneath. Greg Fyvie with his 5th of the second half, his 12th overall. And the personal foul will be charged to Joe Gulbranson. It'll be his first in the second
Terrorists
team.
want a timeout and talk it over.
Appleton West really struggling here tonight. 5:15 to go, third quarter of action. Fond du Lac 39, the West Terrors 15. Back after this.
What's the best way to bring home the bat? High entrance. Pay-per-view makes it easy to see the #1 hit of the year. You betcha! Heroes. Villains. A damsel in distress. The bat signal is not a beeper. A timeless adventure you'll enjoy forever. That's impressive. Batman Forever. Order it at home on pay-per-view.
And for those of you who may have missed it this past Tuesday, the Fond du Lac Goodrich hockey team won a conference game 3-0 over Beaver Dam, but not with suffering another loss for them. Gerard Guyette broke a wrist in that hockey game, and he is out for the year. So the Cardinals now in the last couple of weeks lose John Coleman and now Gerard Guyette. Coleman is questionable whether or not he will return on the season, but Guyette, the way it looks, is done for the season.
Yeah, there is a slim chance, I do believe, that John Coleman could be back. That somewhat depending on how far the Cardinals would go in tournament play. I don't believe that he would make it back at all for the regular season. Fyvie knocks down the three-point play. Nowak spinning down the lane. No, Fyvie stares the rebound again. Outlet pass to Derek. Comes to Casey Jekyll. Give it a Rose. 17-footers on the way. Off the front of the rim. No. Fyvie grabs the rebound. Put it back. Greg Fyvie. Well, so often, Mike, we've seen Fyvie turn it on in the first quarter. He's come out in the second half and scored 8. Nowak. They let him go into the lane.
And that's the first field goal here of the second half for the Terrors after missing their first 5.
And a obvious missed assignment.
Oh, nice pass. Wow.
And Rose loses the ball on the baseline and out of bounds.
Well, that was such a great look-away pass from Diener off the yo-yo dribble. Left hand into Fyvie inside the paint, who was so wide open that he couldn't even believe it. Yeah, those point guards that can make those kind of passes, in this case, Derek Diener, they're so, what word am I looking for? Valuable, but that's not the word I want, but I'll pick one.
And Kenny Larson loses the ball on the baseline and out of bounds. Here's Corey Higgins back up off the pines. Derek Diener in.
They just don't seem to get the respect they deserve sometimes because their value is of utmost importance. You can't win without some good guard play.
Higgins. And unlike the game of football, Mike, where the quarterback, so to speak, can get a lot of press in the spotlight quite a bit, the quarterback or the point guard for the basketball team doesn't get that, does he? Higgins back outside off the rebound there from Fivey. Dan Schrum to the left side, pulls up 12-footer. There's good by Dan Schrum.
Unfortunately, in basketball, I think numbers dictate too much of what happens on the court. You know, people look at the stats and how many points one scored. They don't look what happened away from the ball or how they got to the end result of those points.
There's been one point guard here at Goodrich, Mike, that probably did get some pretty decent respect, and Caleb Moore dips the shoulder and comes up with the hoop, his 8th point of the basketball game. And I'm thinking of Rocky Brown. I think people recognized quite well what Rocky Brown did as a point guard and from that position.
On their championship.
But you know, it really didn't come till the end of the season. Casey Jekyll knocks down his first bucket of the game. As I recall, when they were in that tournament game against Beaver Dam, and he held their leading scorer to what, under 10 points or something of that nature. Finally got some recognition off of that. Moore, free throw line jumper on the way here, will not go down. Moore battles for it. Casey Jekyll out of there with the rebound. 46-19, 2:40 to go here in the third quarter. Schrum takes the ball to the lane, running one-hander, no. 5, he can't snare it away from Caleb Moore. Been a rather studious crowd here tonight. They've had plenty to cheer about, but when you have a lead of almost 30 points.
Fivey with the foul here on Caleb Moore. He will go to the charity stripe.
Third team foul, also up off the Pines. Eric Drake back in the ball game. Greg Fivey will go to the sidelines as Kyle Lace is back in. I get back to that Wisconsin Badger game last night. You know, amazing, Mike, the way listening to the post-game show after it was, I watched it on TV and then turned on the post-game show on the radio. Rather interesting, of course, to listen to Dick Bennett. They always have comments from him following the game. They asked Dick, seeing as how he has a couple of days off here now, they don't play until
Wait for
next
another week, right?
He said, well, you know, what are the plans for this? Are you going to get the kids a couple of days off? And he said, yeah, he was going to give them 1 day off, and he said he wants them to rejoice in this win. He has such a way with words, I'll tell you. He says they need to revel in this for a while. Outside, Andy Rose.
Well, those that didn't catch the Badger game last night, game which they went down by 13, 14 points.
14 points.
Early in the game, actually, and never led in the game until into overtime. Game went overtime and never had a lead once.
Had their first lead at 62-60 in the OT on a fall-away jumper by Sam Oakey. Ball knocked away and out of bounds, touched last by one of the Cardinals. So West will inbound. And the West Terrors are, I dare say, already going to be boarding the bus and taking a long trip home. Both the varsity and the JV's losing tonight here as well by a rather large score.
56 to 33.
Nowak down the low post, ball slapped away by Casey Jekyll into the hands of Andy Rose, given to Corey Higgins. Lead feed, Jekyll, right side, sidewalk, pulls up and hit it. Casey Jekyll, his second bucket of the game.
Now, Fond du Lac,
1:11 to go.
Excuse me, Dave. Fond du Lac going down the bench rather deep in this basketball game, but has gotten good play from a lot of people. Strum's come in, played well. Rose has played well. Jekyll's played well. What we haven't seen yet, have we seen Corey Higgins?
Yes, he's in there right now.
There he is. Yes. I would say up until this point, I hadn't seen him.
Yeah, he was in the first half.
Was he in? I missed that one.
Yep. And 16-foot jumper on the way and good here by Brian Reimer. Brian Reimer, that's his second bucket of the game. But to finish the thought there, Appleton West going to get back on that bus tonight and wonder what they're doing out in this kind of weather.
They were kind of wishing it would have been called off.
Yeah.
Cardinals going to look for one here again. The clock rolling down to 30. And West isn't even going to challenge. They just soon have this clock roll. They'd like to be in what running time, I think.
Well, it is doing that right now. 50-23 with 20 seconds remaining here in the third quarter of action. That corner clock not working. So Higgins to Schrum. Swinging around, here's Kyle Lace. Give it to Higgins. Steps up into the lane and a reach-in foul on Jeremy Nowak. Third team foul. That is the first on Nowak.
Cardinals will inbound with 4 seconds left in the quarter underneath the basket.
Probably a good foul from that standpoint, actually, Mike. So Higgins, Jekyll, outside laced. Let's go on the tray ball. Hit it. Kyle laced. Knocks down the tray at the buzzer. And our score after 3 quarters of play is the Fond du Lac Cardinals 53 and Appleton West 23. Back with a final 8 after this.
For the animals shall not be measured by man. In a world older and more complete than ours, they move finished and complete, gifted with extensions of the senses we've lost whenever retained, living by voices we shall never hear.
Wild Discovery, weekdays at 7 on the Discovery Channel and Marcus Cable.
Back at the Redbird Arena, 53-23 score after 3 quarters of play. The Fond du Lac Cardinals really, with the exception of maybe the first 2 or 3 minutes of this ball game when they had missed about 4 or 5 straight shots, Mike, then got it back into gear, took an 8-4 lead on a pair of 3-pointers by Drew Diener and have never looked back.
Now they have a quick look at the stats for the quarter. Each team with 11 field goal attempts. The Cardinals 8 for 11, 73%. The Terrors 3 for 11, only 27%. Fond du Lac the edge on the boards at 7-5. 3 turnovers for the Cardinals and the Terrors of the West 2.
Yeah, Caleb Moore there with his 12th point of the basketball game, and Corey Higgins back on the other end. Tried to take the ball to the lane, gets hammered, and he'll go to the line. Joe Gulbranson with his second personal, the 4th team foul. We'll be back here on Saturday night. I said the Cardinals with a rare Saturday afternoon game at Oshkosh West. Saturday night, the Fond du Lac girls will be at home to also take on Oshkosh West. Now, one of the major things there that we certainly wanted to get the gals basketball team on. Unfortunately, they're not going up against the greatest of opponents on Saturday night either. But, well, that's why you still play the game. On paper, Fond du Lac far and away above Oshkosh West, who also was winless. But we'll see the gals here on Saturday night. And a reach-in foul. Andy Moline is into the ball game here as well now for Fond du Lac, and just picked up that personal foul. First personal on him. Nowak between the 2 rings. 54-25 basketball game. Looping feed down to Caleb Moore. Turns to the hole over to Casey Jekyll, and he hit the shot.
Caleb Moore, a big boy, but he's got some athletic ability. He's a nice, soft touch for a big man.
I was just about to say that myself. Very soft touch.
Yep.
And a lot of times you won't see that out of a guy that goes that kind of size, 6'4" and 280 pounds.
Hasn't missed a whole lot of meals, I don't think.
No. Ball tipped free by Brett Catlin. And the Terrors will bring it back up. Brett Favre named the Player of the Year in the NFL, Mike.
And rightfully so.
Said upon accepting that thing there last night that he would gladly give it up for a berth in the Super Bowl.
That's next year.
No, I'm just talking about the attitude that he has.
Right, right.
Outside shot, tray ball by Caleb Moore.
Well, the Terrors coming out and hit 3 for 3 here in the quarter. Little late, however.
Reach in by Nowak. on Corey Higgins.
How about the Packers placing 5 men on the All-Madden team this year?
Not only that, but I guess the thing I got the kick out of was where John Madden's team would play all their home games.
The stadium also, correct. Lambeau Field.
Yeah. Higgins, left side, Andy Rose. A couple of pleasant surprises on there. Most notably would be Craig Newsome.
Yep.
And Brooks on the All-Madden team. That's a pleasant surprise, Mike, when you have the likes of Irving and Jerry Rice, and for him to be in that same company, or at least recognized, to be in that same company.
Well, I think now he's taken that next step into the upper level of receivers.
Corey Higgins, bounce feed down here to Casey Jekyll, takes it down off of the baseline and lays it in.
Good assist as Higgins, that's what he does so well. Penetrates, takes it into the paint, and then gets the backside man cutting across. And this time, Jekyll.
Corey Higgins, Mike, and this ball's stolen away by Andy Rose. Corey may have the unfortunate experience, Mike, actually, of being on this Fond du Lac Cardinal team. Here's Andy Rose with a tap no. You dare say that on any other team in the Fox Valley Association, he'd be the starting point guard. And, of course, you have such a fine point guard in Derek Diener, who obviously is going to go. Wallin grabs the rebound. But Corey has shown us a lot this year. Takes the ball in the lane, dishes back for Andy Rose. Bank jumper on the wave, short front of the rim. Wallin battles, has the rebound, make that scrum. They'll say that he stepped on the baseline and out of bounds.
Andy Judkins is going to check in for Fond du Lac. His first action tonight. See who comes out. It's going to be Trump. I like the All-Madden team. I like the kicker this year, too. Bud.
Who was it?
Bud.
Oh, yeah?
The horse?
Yeah. Yeah.
For those long kicks.
Yeah, okay. To be honest with you, I didn't watch it. I'm not a real great fan of John Madden's. I respect his knowledge of the game and what have you. Yeah, Andy Judkins here with the personal foul. Are you even going to bother to turn on the not-so-Super Bowl on Sunday? Or?
This is the first time probably in my life, I really don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
Any other years, after Packers are eliminated, I still always watch the Super Bowl from start to finish. But I'm sure I'll turn it on. But
I think they ought to just have a ceremony. Give the trophy to Jerry Jones that he bought. And
just have him go out and buy his own.
Yeah. I think next year we ought to give it to him at the beginning of the season and throw the Dallas Cowboys out, and then we'll go play a real football season. Right side shot here by Andy Judkins. No. 3:47 remaining. And posting up is Caleb Moore. Out hole high with a shot. No. Rebound away to Corey Higgins, and Nowak with a foul. Some rumors surfacing this week. I don't know where these were started. Whether they were in Green Bay or...
About the officiating?
Yeah. You have to wonder sometimes. Italy basketball game now, Paul Fain.
Here comes
for Appleton West.
Ryan Blaine in for Fond du Lac.
6'3" junior. And Andy Judkins, yeah. Coming out is Casey Jekyll. So Corey Higgins comes for Judkins, right side. Give it back to Higgins once again between the two rings. Judkins, right side. Here's Rose. Ryan Blaine. 3:10 remaining. 56-32 basketball game. It's been over with basically since the middle of the first quarter. Right after Drew Diener knocked down 3 straight trays, and Andy Rose with a turnaround in the paint. See, his 8th point of the game.
Yeah, you talked, Dave, about Higgins being here at the wrong time behind Diener. However, Higgins will be back next year.
That's very true.
You know, he'll have a full year with some experience this year.
That's very true, and I guess I neglected to look at that, and for whatever reason, I was thinking that he was a senior, and that's not the case. Yeah, and in that case, Mike, you know, already this year, Corey gaining some very valuable experience to carry over to the next season. Jacob Brando, 5'9" juniors into the ball game.
I think Dick is going right to the end of the bench tonight. That should be just about it. Jeff Behrens is
Jeff Behrens also in, right. And he has the basketball around on the right side sidewalk right now.
So everyone getting PT tonight.
Brando. And all the starters are gone now as well for Appleton West. Running one-hander here by Brando. No.
He'll, however, go to the free throw line on the foul.
Fouls charged to Chris Peterson. That will be the 7th team foul, so Brando was going to go to the line and shoot a pair anyway.
This is the first.
Again on Friday night, it's the Springs Ledgers against Manitowoc Roncalli. Have that one for you at 10 o'clock. Saturday night, we're back here at the Redbird Arena as the Lady Cardinals will take on Oshkosh West. Next week, the Cardinals will return home on Thursday night. We will bring you that game against the Neenah Rockets on Thursday night. Offensive foul. Offensive foul called to Sean Lamarche. So Fond du Lac will inbound in their own backcourt. And Brando will work it back up. Under 2 minutes now remaining. 59-32 basketball game. Behrens. Here's Judkins. Tray ball on the way, gone. Andy Judkins, his first hoop of the night. It's a 30-point lead for Fond du Lac at 62-32. Ball fake. Left side, sidewalk. Frederick on the shot there would knock it out. Andy Malik grabs the rebound. Give it to Brando. He'll bring it back up. 125 here in the contest. Judkins leaves on the baseline. Ryan Blaine there with a shot. He knocked it down.
Everybody's working on the scoring column tonight.
Yep. Right side, Lamarche. Back out Frederick. Ben Frederick. Appleton West still will be without a win on the season. Fain saved the ball from going OB, tapped it into the hands of Moline, who tapped it into the hands of Andy Judkins. Brando back up. Brando comes across to Ryan Blaine, give it back out once again. Behrens coming in the lane, leaves it off on the baseline for Moline. He traveled the ball.
Third turnover of the quarter for Fond du Lac, but they've really done a nice job taking care of the ball tonight. Also, I haven't been officially for only 8 turnovers in this entire basketball game, and that's with an awful lot of people playing, which sometimes leads you to create some extra turnovers.
Fain to Frederick on the left side. Up in the high post, they come to Eric Drake. Left side, Frederick, and a reach in there on Jeff Behrens.